In today's lecture, let us discuss about chronic inflammation and mechanism of chronic inflammation and granulomas and types of granulomas. Now, our topic is chronic inflammations. Chronic inflammations. The definition of chronic inflammation is it is delayed and prolonged response of vascular connective tissue towards the injury. Delayed and prolonged response of vascular connective tissue towards the cell injury, towards the injury. Any types of injury. Delayed and prolonged response of vascular connective tissue towards the injury is called chronic inflammations. Now, if we discuss about the cells which are involved in chronic inflammations are like macrophages, plasma cells, eosinophils, and neutrophils. And etc. And all types of WBCs like granulocytes. Now, if we discuss about acute inflammation, in acute inflammation, the main role will be played by neutrophils in acute inflammations. In acute inflammations, the main role will be played by neutrophils. But in case of chronic inflammations, the major cells which are involved in chronic inflammations are macrophages in chronic inflammations. In acute inflammation there is neutrophils action, but in chronic inflammation there is action of macrophages. How these macrophages are useful or will show its function in case of chronic inflammations means, if we discuss about now, before discussing the mechanism, this chronic inflammation includes three criteria, that is inflammation, and tissue repair, and other one is repair mechanism. These are the three criteria of chronic inflammation, that is inflammations, tissue repair, and repair mechanism. If we discuss about the causes of chronic inflammations, there are several causes. Like the first cause is, if we discuss about causes, the first cause which results in chronic inflammations is persistent infections. Persistent infections. Persistent infections is the first cause of chronic inflammation. What are persistent infections means? These are the infections which are caused by the microorganisms which fails to remove from our body. Fails to remove from our body. They will fail to remove from our body. Like it includes bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoans, etc. It also includes prions. First cause, that is, it includes persistent infections, and second cause, it includes hypersensitivities. Hypersensitivity. What is hypersensitive means? Over exaggeration of our own immune response is called hypersensitivity. and these are also called autoimmune disorders. Autoimmune disorders. It includes rheumatoid arthritis, and myasthenia gravis, etc. This is the second cause that results in chronic inflammation. That is, first one is persistent infections, and second one is hypersensitivity, which is also called autoimmune disorders. And next cause is more exposure of toxic substance. If we expose to the toxic substance for longer period, it results in chronic inflammations. These toxic substances are again divided into two forms. One is exogenous form, other one is endogenous form. One is exogenous and other one is endogenous. The example for exogenous is silica. And if a person is exposed for silica for longer duration, it results in pulmonary abnormalities. It is called silicosis. Silicosis is a disorder which is caused by exogenous toxic substances, which results in chronic inflammations. And if we discuss about endogenous, these are lipid abnormalities. In our body, if there is abnormalities in lipid, these are also called endogenous toxic substances, which results in chronic inflammations. And this is one cause. And if we discuss next cause, reoccurrence from acute inflammation. From acute inflammations. If any acute inflammation is going on, then there is damage. There will be engulfing of the damaged cells through the neutrophils. If the damage is 100% not cleared, then it may result in chronic inflammation from the acute inflammation. These are some causes of chronic inflammations, that is persistent infections, hypersensitivity, and toxic substances, and from acute inflammations. And if we discuss about the activation of macrophages in case of chronic inflammations, macrophages will be activated by two forms. These macrophages will get acted by two forms. One is classical form and other one is alternate form. If we discuss, this is a macrophage. As we know that this macrophage plays key role in the chronic inflammation, whereas neutrophil will place important role in the acute inflammation. Now, how these macrophage will get activated means, there are two pathways in which this macrophage will get activated. The first pathway is classical pathway. The first pathway through which the macrophages will get activated is called classical pathway. Now, what are the substance or what are the chemicals which are responsible for activation of macrophages through the classical pathway means, it is activated by interferon gamma through interferon gamma. It is activated by interferon gamma. Now, whenever this macrophages is activated through the chemical pathway, it will show two types of responses. It shows two types of responses. One is, it involves in microcidal actions. Microcidal action. This is one function of macrophage which is activated through the classical pathway, and the other function is it results in inflammations. It results in inflammations. These are the two results of classical pathway in which the macrophage is activated, that is, it shows microcidal action and inflammation. What is microcidal action means? It will kill the growth of microorganism. Kill the growth of microbes. How this microcidal action comes into picture means, this classical pathway will show the microcidal action with the help of releasing the reactive oxygen species and nitric oxide. This classical pathway will secrete, or with the help of reactive oxygen species, that is free radicals and nitric oxide. With the help of this, it results in microcidal actions. And how this clinical pathway will result in inflammation means, they will release interleukin 12 and interleukin 13. Interleukin 12 and interleukin 13 will be released from classical pathway and results in inflammation. Same, it will show the action with the help of in similar pathway with that of acute inflammation. This is one pathway, and second pathway is alternate pathway. One is alternate pathway. One is classical pathway and other one is alternate pathway. How this alternate pathway is activated means, with the help of interleukin 2. With the help of interleukin 2, alternate pathway will get activated. Now, this alternate pathway will show two types of responses. Whereas this classical pathway shows microcidal action and inflammation action. Now, alternate pathway, when it is activated, the first function of this alternate pathway is it involves in tissue repair mechanism. It involves in tissue repair mechanism. How this tissue repair mechanism is activated means, with this alternate pathway will stimulate some growth factors. With the help of some growth factors, it will result in tissue repair. This is one process or one result of alternate pathway. And another result of alternate pathway is it shows anti-inflammation effect. It will show anti-inflammation effect. This is classical pathway and alternate pathway. It involves same process, that is, if any tissue get injured, then there will be blood supply to it, and these are the arteries, and this is microcirculation. And this is venous blood. And here there are parenchymal cells along with stromal cells. Now they secrete interleukins and chemical mediators like chemokines. They will secrete the chemical mediators like chemokines, and it results in It results in interendothelial spaces, and this neutrophil will, here the major role will be played by macrophage. Here the neutrophil will get attached, and with the help of homoproteins, it gets into the extravascular compartment, and from here it will activate the macrophages. These are the macrophages will get activated, and they will come. Let us consider this is a bacteria which is showing its action on this parenchymal cells or stromal cells. The macrophage will get activated and will digest these bacteria. In this way, the chronic inflammation can be mediated with the help of chemical mediators, that is like chemokines and interleukins, and this anti-inflammatory effect is shown by with the help of protein, that is TGF beta. This is about chronic inflammations. And if we discuss about granulomas, what are granulomas? Our topic is about granulomas. What is granuloma? Granuloma is a pattern of chronic inflammation. It is a pattern of chronic inflammation. It is a pattern of chronic inflammation. And if we discuss about the mechanism which is involved in formation of granuloma, here it is a mechanism. One of the causative agent which is responsible for the causing of granuloma is bacteria, that is tuberculosis. Let us consider this is one bacteria, that is tuberculosis. Now this tuberculosis will enter into the body and they will activate the macrophages. They will activate the macrophages. Now the macrophages will get activated. These macrophages will get activated. Now these activated macrophages will secrete special protein, that is interferon gamma. It releases interferon gamma. Now this interferon gamma which is released will activate one special kind of cells, that are CD4TH1 type of cells. CD4TH1 type of cells are activated with help of interferon gamma. Now this CD4T helper cells, one type of cell, will activate again this interferon gamma. This interferon gamma will get activated again. Now this entire process will be going on. Now the final product, which is interferon gamma, which is synthesized, synthesized or which will get activated, will show two types of functions. That is, interferon gamma will have two types of functions. The first function is lymphocyte infiltration. Lymphocyte infiltration or lymphocyte proliferation. One is in lymphocyte infiltration or lymphocyte proliferations, and second function is conversion of macrophages into epithelioid cells. Macrophages will get converted into epithelioid cells. Macrophages will get converted into epithelioid cells. This is a function of interferon gamma. If we discuss about the difference between macrophages and epithelioid cells, this is a large sized macrophage in which whose nucleus is at certain peripheral region, and it is circular in manner. Inside it consists of cytoplasm, and this is macrophage, whereas epithelioid cells is elongated cell. Epithelioid cell is elongated cell and nucleus is centrally located, and along it consists of cytoplasm. These are different between macrophages and epithelioid cells. And if we discuss about the exact definition of granulomas and composition of granulomas, let us consider centrally located epithelioid cells. These are centrally located epithelioid cells, and these are surrounded by lymphocytes. These are surrounded by the lymphocytes. And whenever these epithelioid cells are clustered together, the cytoplasm will get mixed up. Then it forms two types of large giant cells. It forms two large giant cells. Let us consider this is one large giant cell, and this is another giant cell. Now, in this giant cell, the cytoplasm will get scattered and it forms multinucleus. This is one nucleus, and this is the arrangement of nucleus in one cell. In this way, the nucleus will get arranged at the peripheral regions. Now, if the nucleus is arranged at the peripheral regions, then it is called Langhans giant cell. Langhans giant cell. This is one type of cell which is formed with the association of epithelioid cells. Now there is another type of cell in which formed because of association of cytoplasms, and it consists of nucleus which is scattered in cytoplasm. Nucleus will get scattered, and this is called foreign body giant cell. Foreign body giant cell. Now, what is the exact definition of granuloma is? It is a composition of centrally located epithelioid cells and which are surrounded by lymphocytes and associated with the Langerhans giant cells and foreign body giant cells in together is called granuloma. This together structure is called granuloma. This entire structure together is called granuloma, which includes epithelioid cells plus lymphocytes plus Langerhans cells plus foreign body cells. This is a composition of granuloma. These are the epithelioid cells, and these are the lymphocytes, and these are the Langerhans cells and These are the foreign body cells. This is a composition of granuloma. Now, if we discuss about the types of granulomas, there are two types of granulomas. If we discuss the types of granulomas, there are two different types of granulomas, that is caseating granulomas and non-caseating granulomas. Caseating granuloma, and other one is non-caseating granuloma. One is caseating granuloma and other one is non-caseating granuloma. Now, what are the granulomas can be included under the caseating granulomas? Are examples: tuberculosis granuloma. Involves tuberculosis granuloma. And what are the, and this non-caseating granuloma also includes tuberculosis granuloma. It involves TB granuloma. And next examples of non-caseating granulomas is sarcoidosis. And next example is leprosy. What type of leprosy is TB, tuberculotic type of granulomas can be seen in non-caseating granulomas. There are two types of granulomas, that is caseating granulomas and non-caseating granulomas. And this caseating granulomas includes tuberculosis, and this non-caseating granulomas also includes tuberculosis and sarcoidosis and tuberculotic leprosy. And there are special types of granulomas. There are three different types of special types of granulomas are present. If we discuss about special types of granulomas, this special type of granulomas, there are three special types of granulomas are present. The first type of granuloma under special type is naked type granuloma. Naked type granuloma. What is naked type granuloma? Now, if we know, as we know that the granuloma consists of epithelioid cells and lymphocytes and these giant cells. Now, in case of naked granuloma, there is shortage of lymphocytes, or lack of lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are absent in this granuloma. This is naked type of granuloma, and example for this is sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis is the example of naked granuloma, naked type granuloma. This is first type of granuloma, and second type of granuloma is stellate granuloma. Stellate type granuloma. What is stellate type granuloma? If we discuss about the main cell in the acute inflammation, the main cell role is played by the neutrophils, but in case of chronic inflammations, the main role is played by the macrophages. But in case of stellate granuloma, this is an exceptional case in granulomas, that is comes under the chronic inflammation. The main role will be played by the neutrophils. It is neutrophil mediated granuloma. In this way, in stellate granuloma, main role will be played by the neutrophils only. There is no main role of macrophages. This is a exceptional case and this is important type of granuloma. This is exceptional case in the granulomas, that is stellate granulomas, in which neutrophil will be played main role. An example for is cat scratch disease. Cat scratch disease. The characteristic feature of the stellate granuloma is the nucleus will get converted into star shaped. Let us consider. This is cell, and in case of stellate granuloma, the nucleus will get converted into star shape. The star shaped characteristic feature is called stellate granuloma. Example is cat scratch disease. And if we discuss about the third type of special granuloma, it includes Dirks granuloma. Dirks granuloma. What is Dirks granuloma means? It includes cerebral malaria. Cerebral malaria, which is caused by the Plasmodium falciparum. Plasmodium falciparum. And if we discuss about the X-ray or MRI scanning of this person who is dead from this Dirks granuloma, it will be like this. Let us consider this is a blood vessel from the brain, and here these are the rings of Plasmodium falciparum, and this is the chromatin ring. If we study the CT MRI scanning, the scanning will be seen like this, in which the falciparum rings can be seen, and on surface chromatin rings can be seen. In case of Dirks granuloma, cerebral malaria, example is cerebral malaria, and these are the types of granulomas and different types of granulomas, which is a type of chronic inflammations.